The 4 wallpapers representing the seasons were actually conceived, executed, and printed before Ned and I even saw the Powder House in June 2018. They were a culmination of the 8 years devoted to Autobiography of a Garden. After the exhibition in 2016, I still had so much to say about the various plants I had studied, but just as importantly, my exploration of design, as expressed in the plate shapes and back stamps, found an outlet in the development of patterns, starting with Spring Salad, the wallpaper I made for the installation of the plates. On my first viewing of the house, as I walked up the spiral stairs, certainly a piece of folk art in itself, and saw the 4 upstairs rooms, I instantly knew that each space was perfect for its own seasonal wallpaper. Despite the layers of sloppily applied landlord white, these 18th century spaces spoke to me. I could not wait to get started. I realized I'd been anticipating this project for almost 50 years, since my first enchanted view of Mount Vernon. Here was my chance to further my ongoing goal of bringing the contemporary to the historic, and to live inside it. The wallpaper in the stairwell is the only design made specifically for the house. Ferns, mosses, and lichens grow out of a stone wall. A lattice of dead branches hosts more lichens. My working title was "We Are Not Angiosperms," to acknowledge the sporophytes and lichens. Now I simply call it Green Wall. I wanted an enclosed, slightly damp feeling as a foil for the open spatial elements of the seasonal wallpapers, as experienced when moving from the upper hallway into the various rooms. The summer room is papered from floor to ceiling with the summer Scutellarioides pattern. Scutellarioides is the Latin name for coleus, which provides the primary motif. I love coleus because it seems printed. The magenta over the green produces a third violet color, as it does in these prints. Other plants with colorful foliage, such as geraniums, are aligned to create the stripes. A silhouette of a cypress vine adds a spiky movement. I was surprised that such an intense pattern actually made this small room seem bigger. The spring room is articulated on the north and south wall by a pattern of purple irises. The rainbow roll is one of the most powerful effects in the graphic arts, seen in Japanese woodcuts, in lithographs by Johns, Rosenquist, and Ruchet from the 1970s, and countless contemporary digital effects. In the 19th century, French printers introduced wallpapers printed with blended inks and called them irisés. Hence the title of this pattern, Irisé Irises. I knew my printer Dan Wood of DWRI Letterpress in Providence would relish the challenge of printing the flowers with 2 overlapping split fountains on his lovingly tended Heidelberg press. These coexist with the graphic blends of the striped background. Blending is nice, but it needs a high focus element to be effective, in this case provided by the crisp green rosemary branches of the meander. The autumn room is the darkest space on the floor, demanding a nocturnal scene. Autumn amaranth is a damask-type pattern showing various amaranthus and coleus against the starry sky, lit by pinkish moonlight. Working on these prints allowed me to experiment with color in ways that were completely new to me. I had never worked with color on the enveloping scale of a mural. Walking from the autumn room into the winter room brings us from a warm October evening into the blinding brightness of a sunny morning after nighttime snow. The skeletal remains of native plants poking through the snow were a motif in the December plate from Autobiography of a Garden. They are all recognizable New England natives: asters, butterfly weed, goldenrods, mountain mint, sensitive fern, black-eyed Susans, hence the pattern name Winter Weeds. The stripe is based on ice flowers that form so beautifully on the windows of poorly insulated houses. Living inside these patterns has been fascinating. They are prints that cover a room. They break down the walls and offer open vistas. The repeats are conducive to contemplation. I find they don't take well to pictures. They are already fully pictorial, but they relate enthusiastically to objects and persons in the space. Looking at these walls gives me a great deal to think about. I may be done with papering the powder house, but I certainly look forward to much more exploration of printed wallpapers.